Hello, everyone. We did our presentation on the impact of climate change, insect biomass decline. My name is Noah Hill.
My name is Jason Liu.
And my name is Jeffrey Liu. So, first of all, we will start our presentation with a discussion on insect biomass. You might ask, what is insect biomass? It's basically if you took all the insects in the whole world and you measured the total matter of that bunch. And you might ask, why is this important? It is important because it measures insect population health. So if there are downward trends in biomass, that means insects are dying and insect deaths are generally not favorable because insects play a very critical role in our agriculture and our ecosystems. And for example, we have the honeybee, which we all know that it pollinates plants, flowers, and such like that. And it is responsible for the billions contributed to the agriculture. The exact number is 15 billion per USDA statistics. Next.
Sorry.
And you might ask, why is insect biomass declining? It is declining because of several factors. One is human intervention, which causes habitat fragmentation. And you can think of fragmentation as splitting up habitats into smaller pieces. And the splitting agents are the roads and cities, which make smaller pieces of habitat that make it more difficult for insects to survive in. And in addition to that, we have changes in temperature, precipitation, wind, and other factors. And we scientists still need to do more research on the extent of factors and find out other factors at play that have yet to be understood.
So one impact of the declining insect biomass that you might not have thought of is the importance of insects on our economy, right? So all countries around the world, they rely on insects to manage their agriculture. Um, so these insects, so for example, insects can be brought onto arable land, which can help like restore species, basically serving as substitutes for extinct ecosystem engineers, like allowing them to help the crops reproduce more and grow more in general. So as you can see, there's a bee on the top right, and it shows that pollination services by insects are estimated to contribute to 9.5% of the yield of crop production, which is quite significant. And below that, there's an example of the African dung beetle, which was a beetle that was introduced to Australian farms to help reduce the amount of cattle manure in the pastures, which again, an insect that was not native to the Australian farms help them to produce more. But most importantly is insects pollination, right? Crops cannot be produced without the help of pollination. And as it says here, 72% of the world's crops are dependent on insects, and mostly including like pollinators such as bees, flies, beetles, and butterflies. Now, the negative,
Oh,
sorry.
okay, so what are some of the negative impacts of insect biomass decline? First of all, there's pollination. Insects pollinate many plants. And as a result, if there's less insects to do that, then there's going to be a decrease in the reproduction rates of plants. Um, Insects also play critical roles in different nutrient cycling, like with carbon and nitrogen cycles, um, and with herbivory and detrivory. That's like eating plants and eating detrivory is eating dead things and decaying like matter, which are all important things that need to happen to keep the ecosystem going. And if you look at the picture at the right, on the right, you can see herbivorous insects are at the bottom there. So if the biomass of those decrease, then there's going to be a ripple effect upwards through the food web. Because if there's less food for the things higher up, then some of those are going to starve, and that can lead to extinctions all across the ecosystem, which can be very disastrous in the long run because the whole thing can just fall apart.
Yeah. On this slide, there's decline data. So scientists found that there is a general decrease in biomass as shown in this graph A, where the trend line is significantly decreasing as time goes on from the 1990s to now. Now, on graph B, or the second graph, you can see that the same trend line is also decreasing, where the x-axis is a percentage of urban cover and the y-axis represents the biomass count. And the windshield phenomenon is an important phenomenon when discussing this topic. It's basically the sense that the number of insects crashing the windows has declined severely over the past few decades. Basically, what it means is that people are not seeing as many bugs as they have in the past.
And here are our sources. Thank you very much for listening.